Okay, so here are a few of our tents. We have quite a few of these. They happen to be REI tents. These are 2-man tents. We also have some of their 3-man and their 4-man. Today I'll be demoing how to pack up one of our REI 2-man tents. First I want to show you just a little bit about the tent. I know, again, if you've watched the other video on how to set up, you've got some of this already, but these tents are 2+, means they hold 2 people and a little extra, which means they basically hold 2 people. These tents have vents on the top. There's 4 of them. You can see them here. One of the first things we do is we shut those vents, make sure everything's zipped up. These tents have 2 doors, one on each side, as you can see here. There's the other door, which makes them very convenient. These are fairly lightweight tents, without being overly lightweight. In other words, they're durable, and so we really love these. So a little shout out to REI for making a really good tent. And again, these are most likely the tent that you'll be using. So I'm going to set the camera down here and let's get started. All right, see if I can get a good view here. Okay, so I'm going to walk into the picture now and show you what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to shut these vents. Just makes it a little bit easier. And they're just a Velcro, kind of a stick that holds up here. You can kind of see one here. And I just tuck that in. Do that on both sides. Sorry about the airplane going out by overhead. Hopefully you can still hear me. The other thing we do is we make sure everything's zipped up. So I've zipped up the doors. These doors have 2 zippers. You can see, and then of course there's a zipper on the screen on the inside as well. We always make sure these are zipped up. Often, you know, this is the way most people use it, and I just want to, again, make sure it's zipped up. And that makes setting up a lot easier. Because you want to, when you stake out the tent, you want everything zipped up. So we just kind of go in reverse of what we did when we set up. Start by pulling out the stakes for the fly. And again, I apologize for the noise. I think that was a FedEx truck. But I'll go ahead and pull out these 4 stakes. And I have those stakes here. So there are 4 of them for the fly. And then the fly is connected at each of the 4 corners of the tent. So we'll disconnect those. It's just a buckle. And we'll do the 2 over here. So now the fly is basically disconnected except for 2 spots. Underneath, when we set up the tent, we connected this onto this pole, and that helps hold the fly in place. So we'll take those off, and you can simply pull the fly off, and the other one comes off for you. All right, now something I always tell people to check is that these tents usually have a pocket up in the ceiling, one for each person, and they have some on the sides inside. So, you know, always check your tent, make sure that you got all your personal items out of it. The next thing we'll do is we'll simply unhook the main body of the tent from the poles just by pulling these off. All right, got a couple more here. And then what you can do is unhook the one. This one has 1 in the center. Some of our tents have 1 on each side of the center bar. These are the REI's newer tent. It's a SL 2+. Some of the little bit older ones have, like I said, 2 of these instead of just 1. And then after we do that, again, we have this netting connected at the center pole. So I want to unhook that. And now our tent is in. And then what I like to do is just kind of throw this screen in the middle of the tent, and you got a nice rectangle here. And then very simply, we just pull the pole out of the little rivet. That's it in the. You can see it right here. Of course, you saw that when you set up the tent, but and just take these out. Now, one thing I always ask our people to do is just be very careful with these poles and with the material of the tent. Don't walk on the tent. Try not to, you know, have rocks in there. And probably something I should have mentioned right away is before you take it down is kind of check for rocks and sticks inside the tent. Hopefully you don't have any in there, but if you do, take them out. Then these poles just pull apart. They have the elastic there, and you just pull these apart and fold them up. And it's pretty easy to do. Center one's here, and you just kind of walk through this. And again, just be careful when you pull these apart. Don't like bend it to get it out. They should just pull straight out. All right, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna walk out of the video for just a quick second because I forgot the bag. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go get the bag. Our bags are usually color coded to the color of the tent, and that's something you can always check. Doesn't really matter, they're all pretty much the same. I always keep the pole bag and the stake bag inside of the tent bag, which I normally, when we're camping, we ask you to keep it inside the tent so they don't blow away. So I took the poles off and simply yeah, all right, put those poles in the bag. That's it. Cinch it up, and you got your poles. Now we had the 4 stakes from the fly. Now we have the 4 stakes from the 4 corners of the tent. Go ahead and pull those out. And now we have our 8 stakes. All of our tent bags always have a extra stake, but they also include something like this, which this is actually for in the incident that you should happen to break a pole. You can put this inside and it holds a pole together in kind of a emergency situation, so to speak. Anyway, put the stakes in the stake bag, cinch that up. Now, the proper way to roll this tent up and get it inside this bag is we're going to fold it in thirds the long way, and then we're going to roll it up. So I'm going to fold it, and you'll see the footprints. I'm going to keep the footprint right here. Oh, before I do that, I'm just going to throw the fly on here. No, it doesn't really matter if it's, really laid out perfectly. I like to spread it out a little bit just to get an even roll when we roll it up. So something like that. Not a big deal. And then kind of fold it over into a third. Like so. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. And come over and do the other side on top of that fold. And this is what you end up with. So now you just roll it up. I like to do it fairly tightly. Start out nice and tight, and then just start rolling it. And I keep it fairly tight. Now it's possible you could have to roll this up when it's wet. That's okay. If we're leaving to go home and it's wet, just like I've done with these 4 tents here, I take them out and dry them out. And again, we got another airplane going by, so of course, extra noise. But towards the end of the roll of the tent, I like to fold this in. Don't have to, but what it does is it kind of keeps it nice and neat. By doing that, as you can, I'll show you here, you get a nice, real nice roll. It's nice and neat. And it just makes packing the tent easier. So then I just put that into the bag, go ahead and stuff that instruction thing in there. And if you roll it up nice and tight, there's plenty of room for the poles. And what I like to do is I like to squish this down a little bit and then put the poles in. And they should slide in real nice. And then of course you can throw the stakes in there. Now some people, since there's usually 2 people in the tent, depending on the weights of the packs and distribution of group gear, your person you're tenting with, you may elect to take just the tent and give the other person the poles and the stake bag. Oh, go ahead and cinch that up, and there you go. All done. Thanks for watching.